I don't know why, but today I just feel crappy. I feel unmotivated to do anything. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't feel good. Kind of trying to understand why I feel this way. And nothing bad happened to me today. I'm praying to God. Because usually praying helps, but I feel the same. I started reading my Bible. Usually that helps. But I feel the same. So I decided maybe I'll make a video and just talk about what's going on. Because I realized something. I'm not making these videos for anyone but myself. And these videos help me. They help me articulate ideas, and they prevent me from doing something I don't want to do. They help me stay disciplined. They help me stay on track. I guess these are kind of like journal entry videos, I guess. I don't know. I want to be as genuine and truthful as possible. Because what's the point in lying on these videos? I'm just sabotaging myself if I do that. As I'm talking about it now, I know why I feel crappy. I know exactly why. Because this is exactly how I'd feel. I know exactly why I feel crappy. I feel lonely. That's what it is. I feel lonely. And I know that this is what I'm feeling. Because every time in the past, every time I'd feel lonely like this, what would make me feel better? I'll be completely honest. The thing that would make me feel better was like watching porn, honestly. I gotta be honest. Like, it's not like a lonely, like, oh, I want to hang out with my best friend, who's a dude. No. It's like a lonely, like, I want to be with a woman and I want to be in love with a woman, Like, that's the kind of lonely I'm feeling. I want to be in love with a woman. That's the kind of lonely. It's not freaking like, I have no friends. No, it's like, I want to be in love with a woman, obviously, specifically a woman. And I'm currently not, so it sucks. And usually what I would do to help me get through this is I'd like watch porn, I'd jerk off, watch porn. And in the moment, it'd feel good. In the moment, I wouldn't feel lonely, even though the fact that I'm lonely didn't change, but I didn't feel lonely. That was the whole point. The whole point was that I didn't feel lonely. And anyway, and then you jerk off, you watch porn, you do your thing. And then guess what? You feel lonely again, but you feel even crappier because you just did something that makes, yeah, that's how you just feel even crappier, dude. After you jerk off, you just feel even crappier, even more lonely, and you dig yourself into a pit. Obviously, I don't want to feel like this, but having feelings like this is a part of life. Unfortunately, it is. It just is. Like, maybe there's something I could learn from this. I don't know. I don't know. What I know I should not do and what I cannot do is jerk off and watch porn. Even though a part of me kind of wants to do that right now. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I kind of want to do it. But no. I should not do it. Because I know where that leads. God put these commandments in our lives, these commandments for us to follow, because he loves us. I mean, think about it. There's a being, right, God, who knows everything, because he created everything, right? He lives outside his creation, right? Like someone, if you built a PC, You don't live inside your PC, right? No, you live outside of what you built, right? God created everything. He lives outside of everything. He doesn't live in space, time, and matter. He created those things. He lives outside of space, time, and matter. What I'm trying to say is he is all-knowing. He knows everything. Every little dirty little thing you've done in your life. You know everything. You can't deceive him, nor can you hide from him. Nor would you want to hide from him. Because a life where God is completely absent, that's called hell. Whether you like it or not, God is in your life. Whether you believe it or not, he is. I know this because if he's completely not in your life, you're in hell. That's what hell is. Hell is a place where God just is not. And what was I saying before? I don't know. Anyway, oh yeah, so this is where I was going with this. So God created these commandments to free us, not to imprison us. And I know it feels like he's imprisoning you because it's like, oh, I really want to do this thing, and he's telling me not to do this thing I really want to do. Think about it. What does a father do to a child for most of the days of the child's life? The child really wants to climb this tree. The father's like, no, because you might die. If you climb this tree and fall, you will die. Don't climb this tree. But the child's like, I really want to, though. Like, what the heck, you know? He's throwing a temper tantrum, you know? Like, I want to climb that tree. You know, and the father's like, no, because you will probably die. You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing. You climb to the top. You don't know how to get down. You slip and you die. You're most likely going to die if you climb this tree. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what these commandments are like. He put these commandments in here because he knows the things that we want to do, but God knows, because he's all-knowing, he knows that if we do them, we will die. We will surely die. And also, something that I just kind of found out, science, if you tell me you're a man of science, let me tell you something. All science does is prove that there's a creator. Think about this. Space, what was everything created out of? So space, because so matter, but you need space for matter. And you can't have space and matter without time. There needs to be a when. Right? Space, time, and matter. Three of the big things. You need these three to have anything. Solid, liquid, gas. Look at that. 3 again. Proton, neutron, electron. Look at that. 3 again. And there's probably more examples. That's all I know. I mean, think like God is a triune God, and he created everything to be like him. He's a triune God, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, 3. He created everything to be like him. Like, he made it known that someone, a higher being, created everything. He made it known. He made it known in his creation. All science does is prove that there's a creator. Like, you're not about to tell me that it was all chance, and you're not about to tell me it was all chance. And out of chance, it was space, time, and matter, solid, liquid, gas, 3. There's 3s everywhere, dude. 3. Like, it's not. It's all 3s because it was made that way by someone. Someone created it to be like that because God is a triune God. That's how God is. He's 3. So he made everything to be 3. Not like literally everything, but you know what I mean. In my eyes, all science does is prove that there's a creator. And the next question is, but how do you know which religion is correct? I don't have enough knowledge about all the other religions to tell you, but I know this is the right one. I know this is the truth. Okay, wait. There's actually proof. I'm going to show you something on the screen. I'm going to do some editing, Something's going to pop up on the screen, all right? It's a picture of all the cross references in the Holy Bible. Look at all those cross references. I'm pretty sure there's over 66,000 cross references in the Bible. Now you may be wondering, like, what the heck does that even mean? Well, like prophecies. The Bible has 40 authors, and it was written over 1,500 years. You know, something like that. I don't know the exact specific, but something like that. You know, how in the heck can this book have over 60,000 cross references when it was written over 1,500 years by 40 different authors? Tell me how that's possible. And what a cross reference is, it's a prophecy. So, for example, one of the Psalms, right? The Psalm of David, you know, the Psalms of David, specifically Psalm 22. So David was alive 1,200 years before Jesus. Okay? Keep that in mind. 1,200 years before Jesus. All right? Jesus is crucified. And Jesus on the cross, he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? And when he says that, he's referencing a Psalm of David, specifically Psalm 22. The Psalm starts with, my God, why have you forsaken me? That's how the Psalm starts. And then it goes on. And in that Psalm, it describes exactly, to a T, exactly what Jesus was going through on the cross when he died, when he was crucified. Exactly. To a T. It was written 1,200 years ago. That psalm was written 1,200 years ago. And it was written to a T what Jesus was going through on the cross. 1,200 years before it happened. How is that possible? The only answer is because God is the author. God lives outside of time. He sees the future. He knows everything. That's the only answer. Like, there's no freaking, whoa, you could totally orchestrate something. Like, get your head out of your ass, dude. No, man, no. And there's 66,000. So that's an example of a single cross reference in the Bible. There's 66,000. Okay? There's 66,000 like that. Something like that. How is that possible? You tell me. Well, you could orchestrate, generation to generation. You could totally. You're dumb, bro. I don't mean to be. I don't know. That makes me angry, dude. It genuinely does. That makes me angry. It's like, dude, you're dumb. You're actually dumb. It's impossible. There's no other book to exist that does this. Why? Because God isn't the author of all those other books. God is the author of this one book. And that's why this one book is the only book that has done that ever. The Bible proves itself. It's proof enough. It proves itself. Science proves that there's a creator. Like, everything points to God. Everything points to Jesus. I even heard this thing. Like, okay, I didn't do research on this. All right. I watched a video. So I didn't do my own research on this. I just watched the video. But what this guy was saying, and this guy researched other religions. All right. I didn't, but like this video I watched of this guy researched religions. And apparently, from what this guy was saying, apparently in like these different religions, like Muslim, for example, they see Jesus as a prophet, right? So Jesus is in the Muslim religion. They don't see him as the savior. They don't see him as the son of God, but they see him as a prophet. You know, they see his teaching. They're like, okay, this guy was clearly a prophet of some sort, right? So Jesus is in their religion as a prophet. In Buddhism, I'm pretty sure in Buddha, he said in Buddhism, Jesus was known as like a Buddhist in the religion Buddhism, I think. Basically, the point is, and then he talked about like other religions. I just don't remember. But the point that I'm making, or that guy was making in the video I watched, was that Jesus is in every other religion. He's talked about in every other religion. They don't see him as the Son of God, but he's talked about in every other religion. They talk about him as like, oh yeah, he was like a super wise, Buddhist or something, like in the Buddhism religion, that say something like that. Maybe Muslims recognize him as a prophet. They say his teachings were, something to follow. They were worth following. They all see him as kind of like an option. Like, oh yeah, he's kind of a way, he's an option. In every other religion. He's like, oh yeah, he's like a known guy. He was kind of like an option. He had good teachings. He was kind of like an option. You could follow him. And then what does Jesus say in Christianity and in this religion? He says, I am the only way. I am the only way to God. That's what he says. In every other religion, they recognize Jesus as like, oh yeah, he was a wise teacher, he was a prophet, he had good teachings, he's a way. And then Jesus says, no, I'm the only way. To me, that just proves like that. I guess it doesn't necessarily prove, but to me, that's like, all right, all these other religions recognize him as, a prophet of some sort, like whatever they call a prophet in their religion, that's proof enough that he was something at least, right? But they recognize him as a way. Jesus says, I am the only way. I'm going to follow the religion that says, I am the only way. I'm not going to follow a religion that says, yeah, that's kind of a way. That's kind of a way. I'm going to follow the one that says, I am the only way. And he said it with confidence. Like, if you genuinely study the Bible and you look hard enough, you will find proof that God is real. Just from studying the Bible, from looking at all the cross references, you're like seriously, man. Like if you just genuinely studied the Bible and saw the cross references, you'd be like mind blown. Like, how is this possible? This was 1,000 years before this. Like, what? What? Like it's mind blowing. And you're gonna sit here and tell me, oh, they like orchestrated it somehow. Like, bro, there's stop believing in a lie, bro. Stop believing in a lie, man. Like, you're killing yourself, dude. It's eternity in hell for you if you don't come to the truth. Anyway, I didn't really have a specific. I didn't have a. I was just. I've learned. I'm making these videos for myself. I'm not making them for anyone else. I wanted to make a video where I just kind of rambled on and thought and just said things because it helped me. It did help me. Talking about stuff helped me, and recording it helped me, and looking over this and articulating my thoughts and just kind of rewatching it. I don't know. Helps me. Okay. Bye.